Hello, dreamers! Let's talk about the no sugar added diet slash lifestyle and how to do it. Okay? I gave up all added sugar on, I think it was April 13th of 2016. So it's been over 2 years now. It's an amazing thing. Not only has it dropped my overall body weight by 15% of what it was when I started, but it has also just completely stabilized my moods. It's helped to heal my hormones. It's helped to address autoimmune conditions. It has greatly improved my intuitive abilities and so much more. If you're curious about the very start of my journey, actually made a video at that time called "Is Sugar a Drug?" which I will link below. After all this time, I do think that sugar is a drug. When I accidentally eat sugar now, I sometimes accidentally eat it because I order something that I think is sugar-free or something and it isn't. When I accidentally eat sugar now, it has terrible effects on my body. My lymph nodes will swell. It's excruciatingly painful. That's how much my lymph nodes swell in my neck and in my groin and sometimes in my armpits. Like, my body actually has a terrible reaction to the sugar. Now that I've removed it completely from my diet, I'll get headaches, migraines. It's really, really something. Okay, so let's talk about what you can do to improve the transition to your no sugar added diet or lifestyle and how to not feel miserable. And I followed these principles when I transitioned, and I did not have any detox symptoms, despite the fact that I was eating a good amount of sugar before I transitioned. I didn't get any of the weird symptoms that people talk about, which I think are related to having imbalanced blood sugar. Here's a couple tips for keeping your blood sugar balanced and feeling satisfied when you begin a no sugar added lifestyle. It can be very tempting to include a lot of sugar alternatives. I recommend not doing this. In particular, do not eat any honey, maple syrup, or agave. If you eat these types of sugar alternatives, then you will not experience any of the benefits of your no sugar added diet, because these things are metabolized just like sugar. So sometimes people think they're eating a no sugar added diet, but they're having a bit of agave or maple syrup or honey with every meal. Unfortunately, that is going to cause a lot of the same issues, especially for women with hormonal issues. I also recommend limiting and eventually phasing out sugar alternatives like stevia, erythritol, xylitol. When you transition to a no sugar added lifestyle, get sweet tastes from whole foods. It can be really tempting to say, okay, normally I sprinkle sugar on my oatmeal, so now I'm going to sprinkle stevia on my oatmeal instead. The effects of these sugar alternatives are not very well understood or studied because they're relatively new. And what I have found in my own experience is that they often taste sweeter than sugar. They can actually make us crave sugar even more and keep us in that cycle of craving that sort of hit. When I do use any of the sugar alternatives, which is very rare, probably once every 4 months or something, I'll typically use the monk fruit, like organic monk fruit. If I'm really going to go for a treat or something like that, I'll often get the So Delicious coconut ice cream with the monk fruit as the sweetener. Think in a different way about how you get the sweet taste. For me, it works best to have plenty of sweet tastes with every single meal, but to not get any of those sweet tastes from powders or pour on liquids or things like that, but to get them from whole foods. So how are you going to do this? It's so easy, okay? It's so easy. Include fruits with every single meal. Include fruits with every single meal instead of putting sugar in your cereal or something like that. If you eat cereal or you eat oatmeal, just put a whole bunch of fruit in it. Just put raisins in it or frozen raspberries or frozen blueberries. When you're transitioning, frozen berries are amazing. They can be a little bit expensive. Fresh fruit is amazing too, but I think frozen fruit is really amazing, especially if you don't live in a tropical climate. If you take frozen fruit and you just put a little bit of it in a container at night and maybe put it in the fridge instead of the freezer, when it thaws out, it tastes very, very sweet and very delicious. Especially frozen mangoes, frozen cherries, those are very high on the sweetness spectrum. But fruit is a human food that your body's going to like. I think people get afraid of fruit. Don't be afraid of fruit, okay? Fruit is good. Some fruits that I find really delicious that I like to eat with all the time include organic dried plums, otherwise known as prunes, okay? And people have a negative affiliation with the prune, okay? Because they think it's for old people or it's nasty, slimy. And that's true if you buy prunes that are not organic, okay? But if you buy organic prunes that are unsulfured, they are delicious. They taste like gummies. They taste like gummies, like gummy bears, or they are so yummy. I eat a lot of them. People are afraid of dried fruit as well. If you have a lot of weight to lose and you're doing this primarily for weight loss, then eat the actual plum rather than the prune. But if you just have a little bit of weight to lose, 10 or 15 pounds or something, don't fear the dried fruits. Every day my chronometer is listen, you're gonna get fat. You're eating way too many calories from dried fruits. You can't eat 25 prunes with your dinner. Guess what? The weight gain doesn't happen. Okay, just saying. Okay, so literally though, even if you're cooking savory food, you might be like, I don't want fruit with that. Fruits combine pretty well with savory food. Apple can combine pretty good with salads. Apples combine really good with rice-based dishes. Raisins combine well with almost everything. They really do. Raisins can go in almost anything. You might think, oh my gosh, I really don't want raisins in my pasta dish or something like that. Believe it or not, they will go really well, even in sandwiches and things like that. Making a peanut butter sandwich or something, put raisins in it. Just try it. We are used to having a sweet taste because we're used to having something with added sugar, and it can suck without that sweet taste. Try adding the sweet taste back in, okay? Most dried fruits cook very well in savory items, okay? So just experiment. In terms of dried fruit, you really need something that tastes like candy. You're craving Snickers or something. Recommend taking a date, for example, putting some sugar-added peanut butter on it, maybe some cacao nibs or something like that. Oh my gosh, it will be delicious, okay? The fruit is your friend. Fruit is your friend. And you're first transitioning, stock up on fruit. You may need a lot more than what you realize. Go with fruits that you really like and enjoy and have them ripe. Have some frozen ones as well and have some dried fruits on hand and just experiment. Things like applesauce can be really good too. If you're having a snack, some nuts, some fruit together, it's going to be really, really good. Oh, watch out with the dried fruits that they're not sprinkled with sugar. God bless America. Okay? I know this is really hard, but when you're transitioning, try to avoid the packaged foods. They're not going to be helpful for you. A lot of packaged foods that say no sugar added, which are common now, they're not actually no sugar added, or they are adding something like fruit concentrate or something that's still going to cause a blood sugar reaction and keep you in that cycle that you don't want to be in. If you are in a pinch, you're really in a pinch, you really need something, then okay, go for something that says no sugar added, but try to, as much as possible, stick to things that are based from whole foods. We cannot trust food companies and food labeling in the United States. If you live in the EU or something, it might be a little bit better, but here in the US, It's marketing, it's marketing, it's marketing. Go for the simplest foods possible. Instead of looking for a cereal or something like that that says no sugar added, you're better off just making your own muesli or using oats. There are cereals, I know they sell them at most natural food stores that are pretty cheap, and they're just puffed rice, you know, or puffed bran of some sort. Go for those things. Go for the whole foods, not the packaged things that say no sugar added. Fat is extremely important. You need to eat fat with every single meal. Don't be afraid of fat. Don't be afraid of fat. It will make you feel full. It will be beneficial for your hormones. It will be beneficial for weight loss. When we need fat, our brain loves fat. The kind of fats that I would suggest, nuts are really helpful. Nuts and nut butter, because they combine really well with sweet dishes and with savory dishes. If you have a nut allergy or something, then of course don't eat them, right? We can make really delicious sauces out of peanut butter, or you can add cashews or things like that to your food, or almonds. Almonds are a pretty safe nut overall. If you have difficulty digesting nuts or things like that, roasted almonds can be a really good one to have on hand. Those are usually fine for most people. Be very careful when ordering nut butters that it really doesn't have any added sugar. If you can find some good nut butters that you really like, don't be afraid to just eat a tablespoon of that, or eat a couple spoonfuls until you feel satisfied. Avocado is a very good source of plant-based fat as well. For me personally, I prefer these sort of whole foods rather than sprinkle on, you know, sources of fats like chia and stuff like that. But if you like that, eat that. Now, when I first transitioned to no sugar added, I was not vegan. Now I do eat a whole foods plant-based diet, which is a vegan diet, okay? But at the time I wasn't vegan. And I think that if you're not vegan, then you know what? Like, I'm just gonna for a moment just set the ethical things aside. If you're not vegan, if you're vegetarian, then eat the cheese, eat the whole milk, like eat the high fat foods, because fat is a good replacement for added sugar. Go for the higher fat option. Don't try to limit sugar, added sugar, and limit fat at the same time, or you're going to feel horrible. I have fats with every single meal. It's so important. I don't recommend using a lot of oils, but if that's the option that you have, then fine. Look at your meal that you're having. Ask yourself, does it have enough fat to make me feel satiated? And does it have enough sweet taste to make me feel satiated? Eat high protein. I know a lot of people who watch my channel here are spiritual people. If you're spiritual, if you're an empath, if you have some psi abilities, etc., you need more protein to ground yourself. It helps to ground and center a person. So you're looking at your meal in front of you, or your snack. You want to ask yourself, does it have fat? Does it have fruit or a sweet taste? And does it have protein? And if you're hitting those three things, then pretty much any meal that you're designing should satisfy you. Eat a lot of beans, okay? Eat a lot of beans. When I eat minimum the equivalent of 2 cans of beans every day. If I'm hungry or my lady time is coming, then I will eat 3 cans of beans, sometimes in one sitting. And yeah, eat them. Like, okay, get your protein, eat the protein. Okay, eat your proteins. Okay. Okay. Finally, think a little bit about what condiments that you enjoy that do not have any added sugar, because these are going to be your friends, okay? Now, not condiments that have fake sugars added, like a no sugar added ketchup, okay? I'm talking about condiments that are naturally sugar-free, because you're going to need some of these to add in some taste, okay? For example, Himalayan salt or pink salt. A little bit of salt goes a long way. I don't know if any of you ever have the habit of cooking up big pots of steamed vegetables or things like that. But I personally do that every single night. And sometimes I eat it without any salt at all. Like if I want to look really great the next day or something. And it's okay. Okay, it's not the worst taste in the world. But usually I add a sprinkle of salt and it is so delicious, okay? So add a little bit of pink salt, sugar-free, okay? It's sugar-free, no sugar added. Mustard. Mustard, maybe not like honey mustard. You might think that you won't be satisfied if you're eating a hamburger or a veggie burger or something like that without ketchup, but actually if you just add mustard and then you just ask for extra tomato slices on top of it, you'll probably be fine, okay? So think about what you do have that you love that's no sugar added rather than what you're getting rid of. Coconut aminos or soy sauce. It's a good condiment, no sugar added. Cheese as a condiment, or nutritional yeast if you're vegan with a little bit of salt. I see these vegans putting tons of nutritional yeast with no salt on their food. That is nasty, in my opinion, okay? But with salt, it does taste like cheese, okay? So cheese or a cheese alternative, check the labels, but there are vegan cheeses that are no sugar added. Tomatoes or tomato paste, great condiments. I always keep on hand diced tomatoes. Some people might like the crushed tomato cans or whatever, but those are great. It adds a sweet taste. It added little raisins with it. Sweet, yummy, okay? But no sugar added. Nut butters, tahini, hummus, delicious, okay? Some people are adding sugar to their hummus brands, okay? But if you just check the labels, like a good hummus, it's just going to be, chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, some spice. You can make your own, or just typically like the original flavors of hummus or garlic flavors tend to be no sugar added. The ones that are a little bit more colorful, like roasted red pepper, unfortunately, a lot of times are not. But hummus is a great condiment. It's wonderful. Yep, okay. And I personally don't like tahini, but I know a lot of people do like it, and it's a good condiment, okay? That's all I have for you. I guess I could just say some more things that are not on my list. If you want a healthy alternative to soda, you can take seltzer water of some kind. I forget is that what it's called? Like the bubbly water, and then add in fresh fruit, or add in frozen fruits. That's what I honestly do. Like most of the time, if I am going to make this, is typically like a berry blend. You know what I mean? Like there's like blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, or whatever, and like dump that into some seltzer water. And I think it's a delicious sort of treat. Yes, you can drink Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, or whatever, but since as a rule of thumb, we're trying to avoid the sugar substitutes, then you wouldn't want to drink that stuff every day. I remember watching a lot of videos about this before I transitioned, and people would say your taste buds adjust, and I kind of doubted whether or not that would happen. Your taste buds adjust. They do adjust, and it's wonderful. I remember people also saying as time goes on, you'll crave healthier foods as your taste buds adjust. I also doubted whether that would happen. I was a kid that never ate any vegetables, and now, I'm eating so many vegetables that Chronometer is telling me that I'm going to get fat from my vegetables. It's really amazing. It takes some time, but you'll start to crave healthier food items. Your health will improve. Some things take some time to sort themselves out, okay? Something like weight loss should start to happen pretty soon, okay? And if it isn't, then maybe you do need to reduce a little bit of the nuts and dried fruits and things like that and go to fresh, okay? But weight loss is something that you'll see pretty quickly, but things like issues with skin, those can take longer to sort themselves out. Hormonal issues, those can take months. Even if you're doing everything right, our body takes some time to heal some of these things. Digestive problems, same thing. It can take a long time to regenerate and heal certain systems in our bodies. So stick with it, okay? Oh, and also, if you have a little oopsie and you eat a bunch of sugar, then the next day just get plenty of water and get fat to help to balance your blood sugar and get things back on track, and do some exercise and you'll be fine. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just don't give up. Just do the best you can. I think that no sugar added is more, it makes a better lifestyle as opposed to a diet. But no matter what you're doing, if you follow these principles, I think you'll really enjoy how you feel and you'll really enjoy the results. So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and namaste.